Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you how to build a really simple set of storage shelves. So stay tuned and check it out. So we already have some storage shelves in our basement, but we're at the point that we need just a little bit more. So while I clear out this corner, I just want to say that there's nothing special or magical about these shelves that I'm about to make, except for maybe the price. This whole thing can be built with 8 2x3s at $3 a piece, one sheet of 1/2-inch plywood at $43, and a box of screws at $15. And that's a total of $82 at the time of this recording. To start out, I had to cut down all the 2x3s to length. And if you guys want to build something similar to this, I'll have a link to downloadable plans in the description box below, so make sure to check those out. Alright, so this is going to be a pretty typical connection point. So I've got a vertical member here that's going to be like the leg of the whole assembly, and then I've got a horizontal member here, and this is what the shelf is going to sit on. So there's a couple different ways that you can make this connection. One of the easiest ways would be to get a long enough screw and basically just screw this in from the outside and connect it like that. I'd probably put 2 in at each location. Another way, and this is the way that I did it the first time around when I built the original set of shelves, is to use a mending plate like this on both sides. The reason I'm not doing this again is because this took quite a bit of effort to hammer this into place, and yeah, it was just a lot of work, and I want to do things a little bit easier this time. The third way that you could connect this, and I'm sure there's a few more, but the third way, and the way that I'm going to connect this, is by using pocket holes. So this is just I think this is the cheapest pocket hole jig you can pick up. This is about $18 on Amazon. And essentially what this is it's a pilot hole that you drill into here at an angle. So they've got specific screws for these pocket holes, and basically it just goes in at an angle like that and makes that connection. So I'm going to do 2 of these, one from the top and then another one at the bottom. I know I'm probably going to get a little bit of flack and pushback for using pocket holes, but I'm going to give it a try. I think people don't give pocket hole screws enough credit, and we're going to test it out on this set of storage shelves. So like I said, I have the cheapest pocket hole jig that you can pick up from Craig, and the downside to that is each time I want to use it, I'm going to have to measure out a specific distance. So for 2x material that I'm using, it has to be spaced back 1.25 inches from this edge. So I'll have to measure that out, and then I'll also want to center it on the piece left and right, so I'll have to measure that out. That's going to take a lot of time, especially if I'm doing it on the top and bottom at each connection point. So what I did is I went to the computer and I developed a little jig, drew that on the computer, and then I 3D printed it out, and it looks something like this. So basically this jig just pops into this slot right here, and this is measured 1.25 inches back, and then it's perfectly centered this way. So all I have to do is pop the jig in here and then put it on the material, and it's kind of a tight fit, but that's all right, and then slide it back. And you can see that it is a nice tight fit around here, and then I don't have to clamp this down or anything. I can just hold on to it like this and drill my pilot hole. The chips still have a place where they can escape. Then we can just pop this off. And you'll see that I have a perfectly centered pocket hole, and it's spaced back appropriately. So this jig is just friction fit in there, and you can see I can tip it upside down. It's not going to fall out. I can shake it a little bit like that. It's not going to fall out. If you shake it a lot, it will fall out, but I mean, why are you doing that? So if you guys have a pocket hole jig like this and you're running into a similar scenario where you're going to make a lot of holes in 2x material like this, and you don't want to upgrade jigs but you want a way of doing this quickly, I'll leave a link to this on my Etsy page down below, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. Enough talking, let me get to drilling a bunch of holes. So yeah, this saved me a ton of time. I didn't have to measure out anything, and I also didn't have to clamp the jig down at all. And honestly, this is one of the main reasons that I bought a 3D printer in the first place, is to develop little jigs and tools like this to help me just be a little bit more efficient in the shop. I'm excited to see what other ideas I come up with to 3D print and help me in the shop, and if you guys have any ideas, make sure to leave a comment down below. Alright, so I've got all my cross members cut to length, and I've got the pocket holes in them already, and I will be attaching these to the vertical pieces right here. As far as shelf spacing, I'm going to match what I have existing over here in this set of shelves over here. So I'll just come over here and I'll see what that dimension is, and I'll transfer that dimension over to these vertical pieces right here. Alright, so basically I made my mark there, and I'll take a speed square like this, put it right on that mark, and then I can mark out a few of these studs at a time. And also this is going to be the bottom of my crossmember pieces, so I'm just going to put a B on there to remind myself. Alright, so then what you're going to do is you're going to take a crossmember like this, place it in there, line it up on these marks that you just made, and then I'm going to take some 2.5 inch pocket hole screws, and I'll use 2 at each connection point. And this box is actually kind of nice because it came with a drill bit. So yeah, just take your pocket hole screw, put it in the hole like that, and then just kind of keep this crossmember piece lined up on your mark. There we go. One in the top and then one in the bottom. Now we just repeat this step for the next couple of rungs. There we go. One frame down, one to go. Alright, so now that we've got these two, frames put together, now we need a way to connect the two. So that's where these longer cross members come into play. So I like to start the first one out on the ground and connect it with a couple of pocket screws on the ground like this. And then I can stand both of these frames up vertically and connect the other side of this vertical member here to the other frame. So let me show you. So I'm just going to find the center of this right here. So we got 2 feet. Right at a foot, throw a speed square on there so I can get top and bottom. All right, so we got that mark right here, and just draw it down on that face a little bit and this other face a little bit. That way you can kind of eyeball where the center of this is, and you can eyeball that because you know that your pocket hole is right in the center of there as well. So then with that lined up there, I can drive a screw in on this side. And you also want to make sure it's flush right here because this is the top. This is where the shelf is going to be sitting on. So you want that as flush as possible. Then I'll drive a screw in from the back side here. So there, we've got it kind of generally lined up. Now I can find the center mark on this cross member here, and I can screw this into that cross member. Alright, so we've got the frame of this put together. Now all that's left to do is cut the plywood to size, lay it in place, screw it down, and we're good to go. Now I designed this set of shelves in a way that hopefully you'll only need a drill and a pocket hole jig. Now you're probably saying, well, I still got to cut all this material this size. That may be true, but a lot of the times the home center that you get the wood from will cut the material down to size for you if you ask them. So the plywood, they'll definitely rip that down to size and cut it to length. And you can probably get them to cut these 2x3s down to size as well. That way, if you don't have a table saw or a chop saw, you can still knock this project out in a weekend and have a decent set of shelves. All right, let's cut the plywood to size and get this thing wrapped up. Alright, and to attach the shelves to the frame, I'm going to first pre-drill and countersink a hole and then I'll drive in a screw. So what the countersink does is it allows the screw head to sit flush with the top of the wood. And I'll show you what I mean. And for screws, I'm using 1 5/8" deck screws. And this is not going anywhere. Perfect. Whew, let me catch my breath. Alright, so you guys are probably wondering why I chose to put the Christmas tree, the heaviest and biggest item, up on the top shelf. And honestly, it all comes down to my OCD. So I wanted to make sure that this new set of shelves matched the level of the existing shelves over here. And if I were to put the Christmas tree on the bottom, I would have had to raise up all the other shelves, and that just wasn't going to fly with me. So yeah, I will have to muscle this down and then up again twice a year, but at least my OCD can rest assured that all the levels are the same. And another question that I'm sure I'm gonna get is, well, how do you access these boxes in this back corner? And my answer to that is, this is long-term storage, so hopefully we don't have to access those too often, but if we do, simply remove this box and pull these out. Since everything's at the same level, works out really well. And that's it for this video. I know it was a little bit more of a basic video, but I hope you guys learned something. And if you did, it would be awesome if you could hit that like button down below. That just lets YouTube know that this was a decent video and maybe it should pass it on to some other people to watch. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, consider hitting that subscribe button. That way you're notified every time I release a new video. And until next time, thanks for watching.